What if I told you that if you use this putting training aid that's in my hand right now, for 5 to 10 minutes before your next round, you could drop 3 to 5 strokes pretty much instantly? Golf is full of bogus claims just like this one. But here's the thing, I don't think it's actually bogus because I've used this thing over and over again. You can even see with the frayed packaging right here, I've had it for many years, and I've seen lots of competitive and amateur golfers alike use this thing and drop strokes immediately. In this video, I'm gonna show you what this thing is all about, how to use it effectively, and how it's gonna help your game. But before we get into it, I'm Zach from the DIYgolfer.com, where it is my goal to help you shoot your lowest round ever. Let's jump in.
One of my favorite things about the Putting Tutor is how simple it is. In my opinion, the simpler the training aid, the better. This thing comes with a case, marbles, and the putting plate itself, which has 2 little slots, or actually it has 3 different settings for the marbles, and then it has a little peg on the bottom that kind of helps it stay in place. It does not come with the ball with red stripes that you might see on the Amazon listing. You may have seen that, just wanted to make that clear. But anyways, to set this thing up, you're first going to choose your difficulty setting. I recommend starting on the easy setting and then working your way to the pro setting. And eventually, you should be practicing almost exclusively on that pro setting to get the absolute most out of this device. Once you've chosen that setting, it's time to line it up. I recommend starting with a perfectly straight and ideally flat or uphill putt. We want this to be about 4 to 7 feet. You could even do it a little bit shorter if you want. Do this in practice and even on the practice green before a round because it's a great way to get warmed up and calibrated. When you're first starting out on this device, you'll find that it takes quite a few putts before you're able to consistently hit it through the marbles. When I first started using it, I was shooting in the high 70s and it took me over an hour on the pro setting before I started getting it through pretty consistently. So it's not easy whatsoever. So have some patience and also be sure to use the white lines on the plate. Standing over the ball, you should be able to see both of them. If not, that means that your eyes are either too far inside or too far outside of the ball. And ideally, you want your eyes directly over the ball, or some guys like Phil Mickelson prefer to have your eyes slightly inside the ball, but definitely not outside. So after you've hit a few straight putts, it's time to work on breaking putts. If you're bad at green reading, this device is going to get you in shape fast. In his book, Every Shot Counts, Mark Brody found in his strokes gained analysis on amateurs that on average, amateurs miss around 70% of their putts on the low side of the hole. Dave Pelz, the creator of this device, the Putting Tutor, has suggested even higher numbers. Ideally, we want our misses to be about 50-50. Which means we're not consistently making the same mistake of under or over reading every time. Most golfers misread their putts and then they'll compensate by pushing or pulling the putts subconsciously. They may have a good putting round once in a while, but will lack consistency in the long run as a result of this. One of the great things about the Putting Tutor is that it's going to force you to read your putts correctly. We know that putting is a function of speed and break. The faster the pace of the putt, the less break we need to play. The slower the pace, the more break we have to play. So as you're aiming and setting up this device, I recommend placing a tee left or right of the hole, depending on what type of putt you're hitting, so that you can aim the tutor and start seeing that proper amount of break. I recommend rolling a few balls underhand to get an idea of how much the putt breaks at different speeds. It's just easier to kind of get it set up. And then you'll place the tee down, aim the Putting Tutor at it, hit some putts, and you'll have to make a few adjustments until you've kind of locked in on both that speed and the amount of break that you're playing. I recommend spending about 5 to 10 minutes on each type of putt. You'll do a straight putt, left to right and right to left, and keep them all kind of in the 4 to 7 foot range. And if you want to make it a little bit harder with those breaking putts, try to adjust the aim and see if you can make it with different speeds. That is a pretty good challenge, but it will really help you with your green reading and your touch. Alright, so we've gone through the basics here, and now I want to leave you with a few tips that I've kind of come up with over using this many years to get more out of this. So my first and most important tip is to be patient and remember what the goal is here. The goal is to train your eye alignment, see the true break of a putt, and learn to match your green reading with the pace that you hit your putts. While practicing, you'll hit those marbles off several times. Furthermore, you're probably going to make it through the marbles and still miss several putts because of either the incorrect speed or maybe even an imperfection in the green. My second tip is to use this indoors during the winter. Set it up in your basement, hit a few straight putts every night. You're going to be amazed at how much this can impact your game. And then my third tip is to avoid using this on rough putting surfaces. This is kind of a more universal rule that I have for myself. I generally don't like to practice on super bumpy greens because it can really just kind of erode your confidence pretty quickly. And then one last thing, kind of a public service announcement here. You'll see that in the video I'm standing on a towel. So if you're going to be hitting the same putt for a long period of time, be sure to throw a towel down, or even better, take off the golf spikes, throw on some flip-flops or some tennis shoes, and save the grass underneath you. I know the groundskeepers will be very appreciative at your local course if you do that. So just a little tip there. And that's about it. I'll leave a link to this device in the video description so you can check it out. If this video is helpful, I'd appreciate a thumbs up on it, subscribe to the channel, and if I missed anything, you have any questions, leave those as comments below and I'll try to respond. Hit them straight, and I'll see you in the next video.